The city lights of Lagos shimmered across the night sky, casting reflections on the bustling streets below. Cars honked, vendors shouted their wares, and the rhythm of the city never seemed to stop. But beneath the fast pace and modern comforts, the heart of Africa still beat in the old stories, passed down through generations. Welcome to Storytime Africa, where the ancient stories of West Africa come alive. Tonight, we dive into a tale that has traveled through time, a story of ambition, greed, and the price of desire. The spirit of the million is more than just a legend, it's a warning. A tale set in the heart of the modern world but grounded in the timeless lessons of our ancestors. In a world where success often means wealth, what happens when the pursuit of riches blinds us to what truly matters? The year was 2025, and Lagos, a city of dreams, pulsed with energy. Towering skyscrapers stood tall against the skyline, their glass facades reflecting the hopes and ambitions of millions. The streets were alive with the ceaseless honking of yellow Danfo buses, the rhythmic chatter of traders, and the distant hum of Afrobeat music spilling from roadside stalls. Yet, beneath the city's glittering surface lay a history woven with myths, secrets, and the cautionary tale of a man named Chike, whose insatiable greed led him down a path of no return. The tale begins in the quiet alleys of Chike's childhood. He grew up in Ejgonlu, a neighborhood brimming with resilience and raw ambition. His parents, hardworking and content with their simple life, instilled in him the values of honesty and perseverance. His mother, a pepper seller at the bustling Balegam market, often reminded him, "Wealth without honor is a curse, my son. A man who chases money without wisdom will be left with nothing but regret." But Chike's eyes saw a different world. He envied the men who drove sleek black SUVs with tinted windows, their fingers heavy with gold rings. He admired the politicians who held lavish parties, their laughter echoing over plates of steaming jollof rice. He wanted more than the modest life his parents had carved out. He wanted wealth, power, untouchable dominance over Lagos itself. One humid evening, the air thick with the scent of grilled suya and burning petrol fumes, Chike found himself seated outside a dimly lit bar. The neon sign above flickered as an aging man named F leaned closer, his voice a hushed whisper. "There's a way to make it big," Chike, F murmured, his breath carrying the scent of palm wine. "A way that only the bold dare to take." Chike's ears perked up. "Tell me." F's lips curled into a knowing smile. He glanced around, ensuring no eavesdroppers lurked in the shadows. Then, in a voice barely above a whisper, he spoke. "Deep in the heart of Lagos, beyond the lights and the noise, there's a spirit, an ancient one. They say it can grant any wish, wealth, fame, power. But there's a price to pay." A chill crawled down Chike's spine, but the hunger in his eyes burned brighter than his fear. "What kind of price?" he asked, leaning in. F chuckled darkly, his fingers tracing the rim of his cup. "That is for the spirit to decide." The night stretched on, the city buzzing around them, unaware of the fateful path Chike was about to tread. F's voice carried through the dimly lit room like an incantation, each word heavy with the weight of an age-old warning. The air crackled with tension as he leaned closer, his eyes flickering like candle flames in the night. "This is not just a tale," he murmured, "but a truth hidden beneath the neon glow of Lagos." The others listened in silence, their breaths shallow, caught between disbelief and the undeniable pull of curiosity. According to the legend, the spirit of the million resided in the depths of the city, concealed beneath the grandeur of its wealthiest districts. No one could say for certain where the spirit's treasure lay. Some whispered of vaults hidden beneath old colonial buildings, others of tunnels long forgotten beneath the towering skyscrapers. But those who sought it did so at great peril. The spirit had once been a king, a man of immeasurable power and influence. His greed knew no bounds. He hoarded riches beyond comprehension, gold that could fill rivers, jewels that could blind the sun. But no amount of wealth could satisfy him. In life, he had built his kingdom upon the backs of the desperate, feeding off their toil while he sat upon his throne of gold. And in death, he paid the price. His spirit was cursed, bound to the treasure he had once coveted. It was said that his shadow still lurked beneath the city, whispering to those who dared to seek his hoard. He would not give it up freely. No, he would demand a price, a sacrifice. The stories varied. Some claimed he asked for blood, the life of a loved one, the very soul of the seeker. Others swore he took something more insidious, something unseen, memories, hope, the ability to love. Those who found the treasure rarely returned, and the few who did were never the same. They walked among the living, hollow-eyed and distant, as if something vital had been taken from them. F's voice dropped to a whisper. The treasure can grant you one wish: wealth, power, fame. But before you ask, remember this: the spirit never takes what you expect. It always knows what you cherish most. A heavy silence settled over the room. The legend had been told before, passed down in hushed voices in the corners of bars, over the crackling of fires in forgotten alleys. But tonight, in the heart of the city where the legend was born, it felt more real than ever. And outside, beyond the rustling of the trees and the hum of distant traffic, something stirred in the shadows. Chaik, like many before him, was drawn to the idea of the treasure. He had grown tired of his menial job at the print shop, tired of folding flyers and fixing broken copy machines. His small, cluttered apartment in Mushin felt more like a prison than a home. Each day, as he scrolled through social media, envy coiled in his chest. Friends flaunting vacations, designer clothes, sleek cars, all things he believed he deserved to. He dreamed of owning a penthouse in Victoria Island, of gliding through the city in a bulletproof black SUV with tinted windows, of hosting parties where politicians and celebrities laughed at his jokes. He believed that the spirit of the million was the key to unlocking it all. One night, after overhearing hushed whispers in a smoky bar, half rumor, half legend, Chaik made up his mind. He would find the treasure. He didn't tell a soul. Armed with determination, a flashlight, and an old map drawn hastily on a napkin, he plunged into the heart of Lagos, navigating its labyrinth of dense streets, dark alleys, and secret underground clubs. Every step deeper into the city's underbelly peeled away another layer of his doubt, replacing it with obsession. He encountered strange guides along the way, an old woman selling roasted plantain who warned him not to go further, a blind bus conductor who seemed to know his name, and a street artist who painted a mural of Chaik's face, though they had never met. But Chaik pushed on, convinced that the spirit's power would make him unstoppable. After days of sleepless searching, Chaik finally stood before a crumbling building, wedged between two gleaming towers in the central business district, an architectural ghost ignored by the living. The air around it felt different, thick with silence and humming with something ancient. The hairs on his arms stood up. He stepped inside. The room was dark, save for a soft, pulsating glow at the center. There, rising like a phantom flame, stood the spirit of the million, a glowing, towering figure cloaked in shifting patterns that resembled 1,000 shimmering naira notes. Its eyes flickered like twin stars trapped in storm clouds. "You seek what does not belong to you," the spirit's voice rumbled, shaking the very foundation of the building. The walls groaned as if remembering countless other greedy footsteps. Chaik's mouth was dry, but he stood firm. "I do," he said. "I want wealth, power, and a life beyond the ordinary." The spirit's eyes narrowed, and its form stretched higher, flickering with every ambition and desire Chaik had ever felt. "Very well," it said, "but remember this: you cannot take without giving. What you gain will cost you something of equal value. Chike barely hesitated. I accept. A low hum filled the air, and the room began to spin. The spirit raised a hand, and Chike was lifted off the ground, suspended midair as waves of light surged through his body. He screamed, not in pain, but in overwhelming exhilaration, as visions of gold, cars, bank alerts, and skyscrapers flooded his mind. But just as the last vision faded, a darkness seeped into him. Cold. Heavy. Final. The spirit's voice returned, now barely a whisper, your gift has been granted. But your heart, your loyalty, your freedom no longer belongs to you. They are mine. Chike collapsed to the ground. He gasped for breath, but his body felt different, stronger, sharper, untouchable. He stood up and laughed. His phone buzzed, a new job offer, bank alerts with obscene amounts, missed calls from people who once ignored him. It had begun. Outside, the city buzzed on, unaware that another soul had been claimed. And somewhere in the shadows, the spirit watched, waiting for the next desperate dreamer. In the days that followed, Chike's life transformed with alarming speed. The mysterious gift from the spirit had turned him into a man of immense influence. One moment he was a humble trader in the village, the next he was shaking hands with tycoons, walking through glass-walled offices in fine Italian suits, and making deals that echoed across the city skyline. He became a businessman of unmatched ambition, climbing the corporate ladder like a man possessed. Luxury cars with leather interiors and tinted windows lined his driveway. He moved into a penthouse that overlooked the bustling heart of Lagos, its lights glittering like stars beneath his feet. His phone buzzed with messages from politicians, celebrities, and investors, each one eager to have him in their corner. But with every new milestone, something within Chike dimmed. His old friends, who once laughed with him under the mango trees of his childhood, now called him sir with forced smiles, or stopped calling at all. His mother, once his closest confidant, spoke to him less. When she did, her voice trembled with worry he refused to hear. He replaced laughter with meetings. Replaced love with transactions. Replaced memories with ambition. At first, he ignored the signs. He told himself he was doing it all for them, for the ones he loved. But deep down, he knew the truth. The more he gained, the more he lost. His wealth built a kingdom, but it had no soul. He threw grand parties in his penthouse, but the rooms echoed with hollow conversations. He traveled the world in private jets, but every landing felt colder than the last. His smile became a mask. His heart, a desert. One night, after yet another business victory that brought him no joy, Chike stood alone in his penthouse, facing a golden-framed mirror that stretched from floor to ceiling. Rain pattered against the glass behind him, washing the city in grey. He stared into his reflection, but what he saw startled him. His eyes, once bright with dreams, were now empty. His face, once full of warmth, now held shadows of regret. The room behind him was full of riches, yet it felt like a tomb. In that silent moment, he remembered the spirit's words, the warning he had dismissed with pride. Every gift has a price, Chike. Be careful what you chase, lest it takes more than you can give. He had everything the world could offer, but nothing his soul truly needed. Tears welled in his eyes, not from pain, but from the realization that somewhere along the way, he had traded love for power, joy for status, and himself for a dream that never loved him back. He touched the mirror, as if trying to reach the boy he used to be. And for the first time in years, he whispered to the empty room, "What have I become?" The night was eerily silent, the city below aglow with the pulse of artificial light. But in Chike's penthouse, time seemed to stop. Shadows clung to the walls like memories refusing to fade. The floor-to-ceiling windows cast his reflection back at him, a man who had it all, and yet nothing at all. The spirit of the million returned, materializing with the sound of rustling leaves and whispers of the forgotten. Its form flickered, neither man nor beast, cloaked in shimmering echoes of those who had come before. Chike turned slowly, his breath catching in his throat. "You have gained much, Chike," the spirit intoned, its voice layered with the weight of 1,000 lost dreams. "But you have lost everything that mattered. Your heart is empty, and your soul is tainted. Your greed has taken more than you realize." Behind the spirit, shadows formed silhouettes, his mother's warm smile, his sister's laughter, the loyal friend he betrayed. All gone. All sacrificed at the altar of ambition. Chike fell to his knees, the polished marble coat beneath him. His voice cracked like brittle glass. "I was blind," he whispered. "I thought wealth would make me happy, but it only left me hollow. I climbed the tower alone, and found nothing at the top." The spirit's gaze softened, just for a moment, a flicker of the humanity it once knew. "It is never too late to turn back," it said, its voice gentler now. "But know this, you cannot undo what has been done. The path of greed is never truly worth the price." Then the spirit stepped backward, merging with the wind and vanishing like mist under the morning sun. A haunting silence followed, broken only by Chike's breath, heavy with sorrow. He remained there, hunched and broken, as dawn began to creep through the windows. Light fell across the scattered remnants of his empire, expensive watches, untouched wine, unread books, and a wall of accolades. All meaningless now. Chike's story is a reminder of the dangers of unchecked ambition and greed. In the modern world, where success is often measured by material wealth and power, it is easy to lose sight of what truly matters: the relationships, the values, and the community that shape us. The spirit of the million teaches us that no amount of wealth can replace the heart, and no amount of success can make up for the loss of what we hold dear. In today's fast-paced world, it is important to reflect on the true cost of our desires and to find a balance between ambition and humility. Because greed may promise everything, but it often leaves us with nothing. The story of the spirit of the million has lived on for generations, and its lessons continue to resonate in our lives today. As we navigate the complexities of modern life, it's essential to remember that the greatest treasures are often the ones that cannot be bought. Community, love, and integrity are the true riches that sustain us. At Storytime Africa, we believe in the power of storytelling to inspire and guide us. Let these tales remind us of our values and help us build a world where wealth is measured not by what we possess, but by what we give. Join us on this journey of exploration, reflection, and growth. Share the wisdom of Africa's past, and let it shape the future. The spirit of storytelling is alive and well, let it inspire you today. Subscribe to Storytime Africa for more powerful tales from the heart of Africa. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one. Bye everyone.